Hello there, welcome to Talking Balearics with me, Martin Makepeace, in a nice, quiet, relaxed Ibiza today, Richie.
Yeah, I think we're sort of moving towards the end of the main part of summer, aren't we? I know where I live, I've got sort of German people, Spanish people, and English people. The German kids have gone back to school, I think, yesterday or today. Spanish kids go back, of course, a little bit later than most, but the English kids go back next Monday. So the season's sort of not coming to an end, because that's not right, is it? Because we are just at the end of August. There'll be a good September, I am sure, but it'll be different types of clientele. But we're coming to sort of the end of the madness, I think, possibly.
Yeah, I think it's the beginning of the end rather than the end of the beginning, isn't it, Rich, really? I think when August is done, I think from the 31st of August, I spend the whole year dreading August, and I hate it when it's over, because that means we've got 6 weeks left, haven't we, really? So, oh, by the way, this is Richie Pryor from Menorca, just in case he didn't tell anybody. So,
didn't I introduce myself? I apologise.
I
thought these days that my introductions are not needed anymore. Although you seem to get stopped more often than I do, to be honest.
Well, you're Billy Big Time these days, mate. You know, being
mate. Listen.
The number one celebrity go-to in Mallorca these days.
No, mate. I am just the sort of, I don't know how you call this relationship. I'm the Ernie Wise to your Eric Walker, mate. I imagine. You know, that's a very old school analogy.
You're more Waldorf to my Statler, actually. Yeah, Richie. So,
dear.
Now we've got I've got some great news for you, Rich. We are officially in the top 10% of podcasts in the world. There you go.
Oh, really? That's interesting. How do we manage that?
I'm not quite sure, Rich, to be honest. People seem to listen to us and whatever. So I was doing a bit of research, and with our stats, it seems that we're up there, mate, in the top 10%. So congratulations,
very
Richie
good.
From Mallorca. Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations, Martin in Ibiza.
Thank you,
What's
mate.
That shirt you got on this week?
This is my new Port Money third kit shirt. Look with the O Beach.
Sponsored by Reebok, by any chance?
Yeah, we are, of course.
Yeah, he'll do anything to get it out there.
Yeah, and it's also sponsored by O Beach as well, mate. So this is.
Come on, Mark. Now listen,
exactly.
You know we're looking for a sponsor. Come on.
Sponsor. Yeah, we need to talk about that, don't we? We're so lazy when we come to sponsors, me and you. Anyway, listen. This is Talking Balearics. I'm Martin. This is Richie. What have you got for me this week?
Actually, got quite a lot of news, actually.
Good, because you had nothing last week.
No, I had nothing last week, exactly. I obviously did no research, but I have this week. I'm on it. Spain received a record number of people. You wouldn't have thought it, but apparently it did between January and July. I want to talk about that. I also want to talk about ghost diners, actually, as well, which is a thing.
Ghost diners?
Ghost diners, yeah.
Is this a new thing? Is this a new theme restaurant in Mallorca?
Yeah. You got a ghost hunt before you have your dinner, but no, ghost diners, and also a Mallorca beach where overcrowding is killing the dunes, but it's not the tourist, Mark.
Ooh, right. Now I'm going to go club centric this week, Rich, because I don't know if I told you this, but I'm set a little personal challenge to myself to start going to the clubs this year, because we get a lot of questions, and I went to Ushuaia last night to watch David Guetta, which I want to talk about as well.
Did you play?
Well, we'll talk about that a little bit later, shall we?
That means he didn't.
I'll include it in my skit anyway.
Okay, he's putting expenses.
Also, if only, Rich, if only. Also, Ibiza has just been nominated for. It's the top clubs in the world. Nominations have just come out, and all of Ibiza clubs are in there. So I just want to go into a bit of detail in there as well, and also a bit of a scam warning, because it was in the Daily Mirror of all the rags that I don't read, but I got flagged up this week. There was a little bit of a scam warning to do with Ibiza as well. So I want to go into that. But first of all, Rich, I want to hear from you telling me how many people have come to Spain, because I thought we were down on numbers, Rich. You're going to tell me something different, are you?
Well, you talk to everybody, and it's awful. The season's awful, and it's been the worst ever season. But then when you actually look at the figures, between January and July this year, Spain received 63.7 million international air passengers. That's 6% more than last year, according to data published on the official tourism agency, which is Turispaña. So that was last week. That came out last week. Figures show that passenger arrivals increased from all major source markets, with the exception of Germany, whose economic crisis is affecting their tourism. The UK remains the single largest source market, with far ahead of the others, with 2.7 million arrivals by air in July. up 4% on the year, representing 23% of all international passengers that particular month, which was July that they were talking about there.
Yeah.
And then Madrid, Catalonia, the Balearic and Canary Islands, Andalusia, and Valencia remain top destinations within Spain. All reported growth, but Valencia stood out with an 8% rise compared to the year earlier. So it just goes to show that what we're hearing and what was actually happening is two different things. You've got to check the detail.
Yeah.
There are people arriving. Are they arriving with money is the other question, because that could be the thing that's not actually happening right now. I think it sounds like that's not happening. You have that sort of the have and the have-nots. There are people arriving, so we are. The numbers are up. So I mean, anybody that tells you that the tourism phobia, I know we don't like to talk about that too much anymore, gets a bad run and people are not wanting to come here. That's not the truth.
Rich, do you think the profile of people are changing and you think the business model is changing of the costas and the islands? I think this is a really important point, because I think anybody who's thinking it's 1995 or whatever, and judging it on those metrics, of course the bars are quieter because people are going out in different places and they're doing different things, aren't they? Do you think that's a big factor?
Totally. Listen, the demographic of people is very, very different to how it was when you and I were repping in our day, and I think even in the 2000s, I think we've passed that as well now.
Yeah.
Particularly, I mean, Magaluf is a perfect example of where it's going. It's going towards families and couples. The front line, which we call the beach line, is doing very well. The second line, which is the Punta Ballena, not so well. Third line, worse. And as you further you get back, the worse it seems to become. And it seems like the authorities are wanting more and more 4- or 5-star hotels, which encourages more and more affluent people to come, which means that, the spend, not always, but most of the time should be up, but in the places where it needs to be. And that means that, unfortunately, some people are getting left behind unless they change their business model.
I think we've said it before. I mean, the stronger getting stronger and the weaker getting weaker, aren't they? Because I think the polarizing places that they're going to, like in Ibiza, going to clubs, and they're not going to bars anymore. They're going to main clubs and beach clubs as well. I noticed in the article as well, Rich, it says that the arrivals from China, South Korea, Turkey, and Colombia, and as well as Japan. So I think it's a case of the world being smaller nowadays. North Americans are taking over. Not so much San Antonio, but Ibiza town, definitely. Everywhere you go, you can just hear North American accents. I think Dwayne Nolan put it in a post a couple of weeks ago saying all he heard was American accents. I've been out and about, and mainly you can hear them because they speak so damn loud, don't they, with that whiny voice, those Americans. So,
that was Martin in Ibiza, by the way, not Richard in New York, all you American people.
Sorry, those very outgoing, nice North American chapesses. But, I just think that, one, the demographics changing, and two, I think the business model is changing dramatically in the last 5 years. It's really changing, Rich.
Without a doubt. Listen, Mike, I got a great example for you yesterday. I went on a wine tour yesterday, which is something that, I wouldn't have normally done in the past. I went on a wine tour and we were with a Korean family who are from Singapore and who were basically here for a few nights. They'd been to, where'd they been? They'd been to France. They'd been to Italy. They were coming to Mallorca. They loved Mallorca. They thought it was fantastic, very diverse. They were on this wine tour. They were staying in Palma. They obviously spoke great English. It's interesting that the diversity is a lot more than how it used to be back in the day when you and I were repping. It was the English, the Germans, and the Spanish. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we didn't. Funny enough, in Ibiza, we never used to get a lot of Spanish because it was all boxed off with the tour operators, wasn't it? The Spanish the Spanish couldn't get over because no one had hotel rooms free. But ever since the opening of the market after the internet age, I mean, we are. I mean, I was at Ushuaia last night watching David Guetta, which I'll talk about in a second, and the amount of nationalities I could hear the Italians, the Spanish, the Australians, the English, the French. Everyone was there, Rich. And I just think that the Balearics now is such an international destination. And I think you get flights from North America, don't you? I think in Palma. We do, yeah. From New York on a daily basis, yeah. And
then I think we get a lot of North Americans coming over to Madrid and Palma and having the hop over. So, interesting, mate. It's interesting, and it just shows you say the devil's in the detail. I think what I think, Rich, is that the same old people are moaning about the same old things, but unfortunately, life has moved on.
I totally agree.
You know I'm a clubber, Rich, don't you? I'm a bit of a clubber. You know, I like going out with the clubs and hanging out with the kids. Kids over 18. By the way, let me just put that in there.
Yeah.
So last night I had the pleasure of going to see David Guetta at Ushuaia. Now I wouldn't normally go, but I've got a friend over who loves David Guetta. Really wanted to go, so I said, "Well, let's get out of the comfort zone." I've got to say, Rich, I really enjoyed it. I've got to tell you, I really enjoyed it, and
Good.
I think, we've talked about many times the way Ibiza's gone. And I think Ushuaia starts at I think 5 o'clock and finishes at 11. So it's purely daytime. There's a lot of people go out afterwards as well. But I was just blown away with the multinational people there as well, the production values, the atmosphere. I've got to say the prices were quite keen. Rich, go on, I like question. What do you reckon for a gin and tonic, mate? Go on. How much for a gin and tonic?
25.
Before you're absolutely on the nose, Rich. You've been, haven't you? You've definitely been to.
Well,
Ushuaia,
I have been. I've been once. I've been once to Ushuaia. But I never looked at the menu. I'll be perfectly honest. But working it out, that the average prices are here between 10 and 15.
Yeah,
you probably add another tenner on. So 25. Yeah.
And there didn't seem to be any lack of people at the bar, Rich, either. So the bar was busy. And I've got to say the production values were amazing. I mean, Guetta, he's a bit Marmite, isn't he? He's a bit cheesy, I've got to tell you. But he does put on a good show. It was a very Las Vegas, Rich, hands in the air and lasers everywhere. But he did put a great show on. But I've got to tell you, that guy can make any song look good. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he remixed Jerusalem or something like that, Rich. You know what I mean? He's like, he can remix any song. He did this song, Rich. You might know this song. If I say Cutting Crew to you, what's the song?
Yeah, I Just Died in Your Arms Tonight.
Yeah, right, exactly. He did this remix of that, and I've got to tell you, that was when I was there, hands in the air, because of
he's doing the hands in the air.
Yeah, there you go. But it was what's that? It's got to be 82, 83, maybe. Cutting Crew, early 80s. Like that, yeah. Are they from? I don't know where they are, but they're from. But he did this remix. I've got to say, this guy really knows how to play a crowd. But on the other side of it, I say, how much entrance then, Rich? There you go. I've asked you got right for the G&T. How much is it for a bog standard entrance into David Guetta at Ushuaia?
I was going to say, about to say, where were you?
David Guetta. I was in the mosh pit, mate.
Just a normal.
Yeah, just a normal ticket. Obviously, how much you reckon?
$150.
Oh, mate! Again, you're on form today. 125, okay. Which I was quite surprised at. I mean, luckily I got a guest list through a really good friend of mine, so we didn't pay to get in, but 125 to get in. So it's 125 to get in, 25 a drink. So it's not the cheapest evening, and that's why I think again, people are going to these really famous places and there's no money left for anywhere else, Rich. You know what I mean? If you do your nightly budget in going to Ushuaia, then basically you're not going to have anything left for anything else, are you? So, it's a game of two halves, I suppose. It's the yin and the yang of Ibiza, but I've got to say overall, Guetta, very good indeed.
Cutting Crew, an English rock band formed in London in 1985. Nick Van Eed and guitarist Kevin McMichael, and their international success with their 1986 debut single, "Just Died in Your Arms Tonight." There you go.
So I'd have been 16. You'd have been just close to 18, mate, wouldn't you? So no wonder we were raving.
We're the same age, aren't we? Where did you get? Just because you're having injections, it doesn't make you any younger.
That's harsh, Rich. That is harsh.
Well, you put it on Facebook and Instagram.
Cheap shot, Richard. Cheap shot.
I bet they weren't cheap, those shots.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, here we go again. Listen, I'll line them up, mate. You knock them over.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
Go on, Rich. It's on you. It's on you, mate. I've done my
interesting one, and I sympathise so much, and I can't believe we've not come up with a solution to this. Ghost reservations or no-show customers who book a table they don't bother to turn up without informing the restaurant are costing businesses, particularly in Menorca of all places, and across the Balearics. Some establishments are using payments of a deposit charged to a bank card to cover some of the losses, but it's less common as the method implies a lack of trust in the consumer, and some businesses prefer not to use it. The customers are booking. Some people are booking like a month in advance and are forgetting they've actually made a booking, because obviously we all know in July and August you need a bit of time to put to get a table reservation. Apparently in Menorca it's a big problem, this, and I've heard of customers. It's happening here in Menorca as well. I don't see a problem really with a restaurant taking some sort of a deposit on your credit card if it actually guarantees that the fact you turn up? And would you more likely not forget? I mean, I can't believe that people forget that they made a reservation. Would you more likely not forget if you've actually made that deposit? Because you know what people are like with their money. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I tend to book restaurants where I don't have to pay a deposit. I've got to tell you, Rich, because it's just easier. I just don't I don't like the thought of just putting my credit card in and whatever. There is one restaurant I went to a couple of years ago. I haven't been that there, a very famous restaurant over here, and the minimum spend I think was 200. You had to pay the 200 up front. So I think there's 4 of us, so I had to put €800 down on a credit card. Ooh. And it felt like going to a concert or something, because you're actually forward pay. You know, it's not a charge on your card. They're not just going to charge it to your card or block it from your card, should I say. They're actually charging it to your card. And I think, you know, it just leaves a bit of a bad taste in your mouth. And actually on Saturday, I've got a lads weekend this weekend. All the English lads are coming over for a bit of a boys weekend, and we're going to again another restaurant on Saturday night, and it's an €85 minimum spend, and they've asked us to kind of prepay. You have to put that on the card as well, which I've got to say, Rich, I don't like it. For personally, that's a thing.
No, I agree, but the obviously on the other side, you look at it from the restaurant point of view, and if you suddenly decide that you don't want to go there, you know, that table.
No, I agree.
It could get filled, but it might not. That's
I agree.
The problem.
No, I agree as well, especially peak season. But I like, there's a few restaurants I use which you can book online. It takes 30 seconds to book online. Bosh, you know you've got the table. And I think if you're a decent person, you're going to turn up, or you're going to cancel the reservation, aren't you? Anyway, so
well, yeah. I mean, I'm just about to say the same thing. You know, if you are a decent enough person, it doesn't take much to really call them and say, "Listen, I'm really, really sorry. One of the party's ill, or you can't make it, or you whatever." Do you know what I mean? You know, I mean, I get to a stage now. We were going to a restaurant actually on Sunday or Saturday, I can't remember, and we were late, and I was like, if we don't get there in the next 15 minutes, they're going to give our table away.
No, I'm the same, Richard. I'm petrified, because you know, you don't want to lose a reservation. You don't want to drive all the way over there and for them to say, sorry, mate, you've missed it by 5 minutes. So
yeah, exactly.
And like Casa Jandel, I think I've spoken about that before. Probably one of the top restaurants in the world now, Rich. I know I say that because I read it I think it was in the Times. There was a report saying it's some of the best food in the world, and you have to book 6 months in advance to get, you know, one of these tables. So, you know, it's all on different levels. But personally, myself, Rich, I like a nice, easy booking system. You book the table, so you know you're going to get a table, and you don't have to put any money down.
Okay, interesting. What else you got?
Clubs, mate. Clubs. So, you know, what's your top club over there, Rich? Come on, let's
BCM.
Let's pick on you. Yeah,
BCM.
So, BCM. And what other clubs have you got over there?
Well, after that, we're struggling, to be honest with you. So we've got the age-old staples of Bananas and Tokyo Joe's, and where else have we got? Boomerangs, I think, is still going. I'm not sure.
I'm not purposely picking on Mallorca. What I'm saying is there stands by the difference between Mallorca and Ibiza, because we really rely on the clubs, and I think there's a bit of a pushback about the clubs. But what COVID did more than anything is prove to us that our USP is having the best clubs in the world. Now, the top 100 clubs have just come out. Ibiza have got 17 places in the top 100 clubs in the world, by the way, Rich. 17 places, which you have to vote for. So it's the nominations at the moment. So just go through the clubs, because are as follows: Universe, obviously, which was Privilege and was before that. Amnesia, which is the home of Balearic House. Blue Marlin, which is at Cala Jondel on the beach there, which is a famous beach venue.
Beach club.
Yeah, it's a beach club, but it does at night time. It does music productions with Pete Tongs there and people like that of that repute. Cafe Mambo, obviously, which is, you know, world famous. We've got Club Chinois, which is a new one on the block. The guy who books the talent is a guy, Danny Whittle, who used to run Pasha. So he's brought a lot of his old mates there. Chinois on the up as well. DC10, probably the classic clubbing destination in Ibiza. Destino, which used to belong to Pasha, but it's just split off from that now. Eden High, number one club in the world for the last 4 or 5 years. Ibiza Rocks, which we all know, don't we? Lineker's is in there as well, which is quite strange. I'm not sure why Lineker's got in there. Leo, Nassau Beach Club, Pasha, Playa Soleil, Ushuaia, where I was last night, and finally, of course, O Beach, which I've got on my shirt today. So, I mean, what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, it just shows you how important it is for the economy of the island. And people don't like it, Rich. It's a real marmite. Well, when I say people don't like it, some people don't like it. You know, the people that you identified a few weeks ago, the tourismophobia, they're the same people that push back against the clubs. But it just shows you that we have 17 of the best 100 clubs in the world. I mean, for a small island in the Mediterranean, 20 by 25 miles, it really is incredible, mate. So nominations, if you want to vote for that, I'll put a link on my.
So this is just nominations. They're not actually. You haven't got the positions yet.
This is the nominations, mate. So it's really a list, basically of the best clubs in the world, mate. So, and I think high in Playa and Bossa and Ibiza has been voted for the last 2 or 3 years as well. So, but I think Universe will probably be there or thereabouts this year. If I was a betting man, mate, I would say that Universe Ibiza will be the number 1 club in the world when the voting stops, because it's just a different level, Rich. You know, they've spent 100 million quid on it, Rich. So yeah, clubbing, mate. That's it.
I've got a little bit of, we like to touch on the tourism phobia, but this did make me laugh.
Rich,
but
let's get it right. You like to touch on tourism phobia.
I just find this story very ironic, actually, to be perfectly honest. An overcrowding of Mallorca's natural spaces, such as dunes and beaches, is commonly associated with mass tourism. But Francesc Xavier Roig, a doctor of geography and geology, has highlighted a case where an environmental harm as a result of the actions of too many people, but owes very little to tourism. Cestanyol, which is Luc Mayor, basically just outside, as he points out, the most beachgoers there are actually residents, and their presence is relatively recent, it says. Until about 10 years ago, almost no one went to the area, but those who did were almost all locals. The increase in people has been significant, and as the beach is very narrow at a particular point, people lie on the sand dunes, others seek shade in the trees areas, and they're causing very much damage because it pushes the sand downwards, which ends up killing all the vegetation. So over-tourism isn't just down to tourists, it is down to the locals as well, which we talked about before. You know, there is no point in blaming the tourists. There is too many people, as in residents, that live here as well. To point it at the tourists is for me, is ridiculous. And there's a perfect example. There's a beach that no really tourist goes to. The locals do. They crowd it out, and they're causing damage.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to you, Rich. You're the one who flags this up regularly because, I mean, it's there. I mean, I just saw that Ibiza's population is up to over 160,000 now. I think it's probably doubled in the last 10 years. So, I mean, kudos to you because realistically, you know, should we do residentaphobia? Shall we start that?
Residentaphobia,
you know, and say, well, you know, the residents who are actually demonstrating against the tourists, but maybe we'll get the tourists to demonstrate against the residents as well. Because, I mean, most Spanish beaches on a Sunday, especially, Rich,
Sundays,
Sunday, you know, that Dominguero, isn't it? You know,
Domingueros.
It's a great phrase.
Love that word.
Yeah, it's
Sunday
one of my favourite.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Domingueros, people who only come out on a Sunday, isn't it? You know, so the Domingueros, you know, I think it's a problem, but it's just because the Balearics are so popular. They're popular to live in, Rich, and they're popular to come on holiday to. So, you know, we are a victim of our own success.
We are, which is in a good way and a bad way, I think.
Yeah,
probably.
both. But Rich, I'm telling you now, we're coming up to the end of August. Let's say, you know, in 3 months' time, there won't be anyone on those beaches.
No, exactly. Exactly. So they'll have 6 months of, basically trying to recover from what the
regeneration.
Regeneration. Exactly. Quick mention for Real Mallorca, Mark. Obviously, last week lost to Barcelona. Just over 24,000 went to the game. Just over 16,000 went to the game against Celta. It was a 5 o'clock kickoff. It was baking. I'll be honest with you. 1-1 draw. Bit disappointing. Both teams. You can't find a goal scorer. That's going to be the problem, I think, all season. But a point for Mallorca. They came back from 1-0 down. Just a small matter of Real Madrid away this week.
What a tough opener as well, wasn't it, Rich? What a tough opener. Did you like the video I posted of you having a good rant about Mallorca last week? I like that because it was like the angry face. Did you see the angry face on you when you were like, blah, blah, blah? You were like going at it, weren't you?
It actually makes a change for me to actually make a reel, Mark, than you being on it all the time, because it has been noted by a few people. I'll mention it. Shall I mention names? Maybe I shan't mention the names of people who are joint friends of ours who say, you can't get a word in edgeways with that fella. He's always on about certain things. And on the reels, forget it. Huh?
Well, if this was a kind of a of a tennis match, me and you. You're definitely 40 love ahead this week, Rich. So I think it's your moment to shine this week, isn't it?
I'll give him a shout out because hopefully he'll give us a shout out as well. It's our mate Jeff Peters from Talk Sport.
Right, okay.
He said to me, that's what he said to me. He says, "You never get a word in edgeways with that fella."
Well, that's because I made it in the reels, Rich. I mean, you don't listen. you don't have a dog and bark yourself, do you? Let's face it. Final story, Richie. Scam warning. Scam warning. Just there was a little thing in the Daily Mirror. I mean, it's that time of year, isn't it? But I mean, talk about stating the bleeding obvious. I've said it before, but basically, it's just saying that people are a bit too keen to book tickets for boats, for clubs, drink prices as well. They're basically booking off dodgy websites, aren't they? I mean, guys, if you're going to book anything, book off the website from the actual establishment, whether it be day club or nightclub or whatever. I mean, it's not rocket science, Rich, is it? Let's face it. So, and don't transfer money to a private bank account or PayPal or anything like that. So, just be careful out there. So, as I said,
talk to a person like you and I, Mark, that's been here a long time and can make sure that we're well above board. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this, really, would we?
Absolutely. I mean, I can recommend Ibiza Property Shop and Priority Mallorca all day long, Rich. I can do that.
Exactly. Well said, sir.
So, no, listen, just a scam warning as well. It's coming toward the end of the season. I think it's the good news, Rich. I think it's going to be a really busy September, by the way. I think it's going to be next week when we speak, it will be the holy grail of September, won't it? So I think it's going to be a really busy, as you said, I think last week, especially until the students go back on the third week of September. So I think the first 2 weeks in September, I've got a feeling they're going to be crazy. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, I think both of us favourite month of the year, isn't it, Mark? September?
Absolutely, mate. I'll get my mojo back and I'll be out and enjoying myself as normal. So,
but that doesn't change. It's been the whole season, really, to be honest.
Here he goes again. Go on, Rich. Go on, son. Hey, Rich, always a pleasure, mate.
Take care. Nice to see you, Mark.
Have a great week.
Next week.
Cheers, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Make me dance.